it got to a point where when people were asked to come up on stage and said no, that this hostess, Dr. A, called them lazy Imagine being on vacation and just wanting to sit and watch a show and being called a lazy Thanks, Virgin Voyages. That's a great vacation. It is Sunday, May 29th, 2022, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofatime, I'm gonna tell you about the interactive entertainment on Virgin Voyages. Happy Sunday, everyone. If you're watching this on Sunday, I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there. I also wrote a book called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's available on Amazon now, and I have now done one cruise with Virgin Voyages. I've cruised several times with NCL, several times with Costa. No, I've only cruised once with Costa. Several times with MSC, several times with NCL. I've cruised with Disney, AIDA, Mindshift, also done a river cruise, and I have now done one cruise with the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. I don't think it will be necessarily my last cruise with them. They're definitely not completely out of the question, but it would have to be a good deal. Let's put it that way. And the information I'm sharing with you today is based on that one cruise, but also my knowledge of cruise ship entertainment from like the 25 other cruises I've been on, and my history, my previous career as a professional stage actor. I talk about this in the book as well, but I am a retired musical theater performer. I have performed in some of the most popular, most successful musicals on a professional level, including Mamma Mia, Miss Saigon, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, and I'm not gonna go through my whole resume, but the reason I'm telling you that is because I want to make sure that you know where I'm coming from as I go through this list of shows that I experienced on my cruise. They were different, they were interesting. They were all full of extremely talented people, but most of them were kind of... Let me read to you how Virgin Voyages itself explains their entertainment. It says here on virginvoyages.com, swapping classic Broadway productions for first-to-see, modern, and immersive entertainment, choose from a festival-like lineup developed by the world's most talked-about directors, choreographers, and artists. And I guess that's a fair description, although I read through this list of directors, choreographers, and artists, and I don't recognize any of them, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Entertainment shows are basically art. I don't think that it's really fair or even relevant to say that they are good or bad, because it's really a matter of personal taste, right? It's just like a pizza. You know, if the ingredients on the pizza are fresh and you're not gonna get sick from eating it, how can you prove if it's a good or a bad pizza? Because some people like a lot of garlic, some people don't. So if it's a pizza with very little garlic, the people who love garlic are gonna say it's bad, but the other way around, you know what I mean? I'm off on a tangent again already. I'm trying to like preface this all because I know how much work goes into creating shows. I know how the creative process is, and if any of the people who are a part of these shows or a part of the creation of these shows happen to see this video, I really don't want anybody to think that I'm being unfairly critical or just like gossipy for the sake of gossiping about it. This is all just my personal opinion. However, there was one show, one piece of entertainment that we saw on board that I can tell you, I have never felt so uncomfortable watching a performance as I did in the theater on this night. And I'm gonna tell you about that as the last thing, of course, but the first show that we saw on board was called Dual Reality, and it's spelled D-U-E-L. And I'm gonna start again by saying the people that we experienced in this show were unbelievably talented circus performers, all doing a really, really great job of what they were supposed to be doing. My take on this show Well, first of all, the show happened in, I would say, the main theater up at the front of the ship. When a ship has a large performance space like this, that's usually where it is, at the front of the ship. That's where it was. And this space is versatile, so it's not just a typical proscenium theater where the stage is at the front and the seats are at the back. For dual reality, it's set up kind of like a mini arena. So there's standing room on the top on two sides, and then there are seats on both sides. So you're kind of looking into the middle, like a mini arena in a way. And I guess what they were trying to do with this show, showcasing circus artistry like Chinese pole, like juggling, like hand-to-hand combat, a little bit of parkour, and teeterboard. There was also some aerial straps, but instead of straps, they were using chains. What they were trying to do using all these different varieties of circus artistry was loosely tell the story of Romeo and Juliet. It was one team basically had on blue tops, the other team had on red tops. The show, I think, was 50 minutes long, 55 minutes long, and for the first probably 85% of it, it was them battling each other. But it was not, in my eyes, it was not effective. It was an attempt at telling a story, but in order to immerse yourself in a story, you need the background of why are these people angry at each other? Why are they fighting with each other? And there was no explanation. The show began, and then to really break it down, it was circus performers acting mad at each other while juggling, while climbing up poles, while doing their aerial artistry. And why they were mad at each other, who knows? But it was a lot of hey, hey, and stage combat, but with no background, just because. And then the highlight or the pinnacle of the story of the night was the teeterboard act, and that was also set up as a battle. But why these two people hated each other, we didn't know. They just did. And one of them fell off and got hurt really bad, and that is what made them decide to all stop battling with each other. And then two of them went up on a ring and started singing, and that was the only singing in the whole show, and then it was over. And for me, if you have so many extremely talented circus artists who are so versatile and have so many abilities, I just didn't need the story, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They could have just done what they could do and have it lit nicely and use fantastic music, and I would have found that more enjoying than watching them fight for 45 minutes and look like this. Not for 45 minutes. It could be maybe one number of angry circus people fighting, and then the rest of it. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's move on to the next show. Another show that we saw on board was called The Ship Show, which is a play on words of saying the shit show. And I've talked about this in other videos as well. There is a lot of that kind of adult humor on Virgin Voyages, a lot of wordplay, a lot of innuendos. And if you're not into that kind of stuff, definitely don't go on a Virgin cruise, because I think you'll be uncomfortable a lot of the time. The ship show took place in the nightclub, which is called the Manor. And the Manor is also a very versatile space because they do have a stage that they can raise and lower. And that is the space where it was. And it seemed kind of like a cabaret atmosphere. And this is the show that I guess, in a way, I found the most enjoyable. And once again, this is just my opinion. Other people might say that this was a horrible show. In a way, we're both right. You know what I mean? So what this show was kind of like a throwback to the old ballroom days where you sit at tables and have a drink, and then there's a variety show happening. There was a live band with a main singer, and then there was a moderator, told a couple jokes, said what's coming next, left the stage, then an act came on the stage. There were circus performers, there was a chorus of dancers, and that was enjoyable. I I do a Virgin Voyages cruise again, I would sit through that again. I did have a good time there. Another show that we saw in the Manor was by the resident drag queen whose name is Titicaca, and now this is a show that's going to be different on every voyage because I think this artist, Miss Titicaca, is only on the ship for a limited amount of time. So by the time you cruise with the Valiant Lady, it might be another show altogether. But I was really impressed by Titicaca's talents because not only could she and did she sing many of the songs live and very well, but fantastic, very well-trained dancer, not just somebody with a lot of natural talent, but somebody who also put in the hours of work. As a trained dancer myself, I could tell, okay, this performer is a trained dancer and could kick legs back here and could drop into the splits and could do a double pirouette with the foot in passe, you know, all these things that a real trained dancer knows how to do and should do. The story was kind of thin. It was like a drag trip around the world with different situations of washing up on a beach and being in Italy, I think. And then in the end, she also did an aerial straps act, which just blew my mind. Like I mentioned in another video, like a quadruple threat: singer, dancer, actor, aerial artist. So that was also a lot of fun. Also relied on audience participation, but in a cheeky kind of fun way. Also a little bit embarrassing. Not anywhere as close to the final show that I'm going to tell you about, where I was so happy that I did not have to participate in this. But altogether, the drag show was a lot of fun. I would go see that again, and I would be really happy to see Miss Titicaca again. Okay, there's 3 more shows that I want to tell you about, and I'm going to tell you about them after this commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below.
If you wanna.
Okay, a lot of the concept of Virgin Voyages is to be new and different and offer the cruisers something unlike anything on any other cruise line. And if that is what they've set out to do, they're definitely doing a good job as that. And whether or a good job at that, and whether or not that's appealing to you is all up to you. Like I said, how can you say if it's good or bad? It's just a matter of taste. And one thing that happened a lot on our cruise were surprise shows, pop-up performances, where all of a sudden music would start and then people would start dancing. Or where we were sitting at breakfast one day and one of the crew members came up to us to ask us if we like magic and then invited us to a secret show. And I can't tell you all the details about it, but if you do cruise with Virgin Voyages and are interested in surprise entertainment, in secret shows and stuff like that, make sure you interact with the crew a lot because they're the ones who let you know when it's happening. And a lot of the entertainment and these secret things, it's just not described very well. It's up to you to go there and experience it and find out as much as you can in order to find out as much as you can and see as much as you can. One of the big highlights is called Scarlet Night, where everything on deck 7 is like in red. And I had no explanation in advance what Scarlet Night was. I think in the program it said wear something red and get ready for an adventure or something. And Scarlet Night is an attempt at creating a non-linear, interactive pop-up theater experience where there are different scenes happening and then you go from area to area on the ship to see the scenes and somehow become a part of what's happening. But there was literally no explanation, and I know that several people cruise with Virgin Voyages and have no idea what they missed. I know because I talked to Emma about it in advance, Emma Cruises, and I asked her, tonight's Scarlet Night, what goes on in Scarlet Night? And Emma said, yeah, basically nothing, just everybody wears red and walks around deck 7. But there were shows. There was a singing show. There was another secret show that we got invited to. There was a big finale in the main theater with live singing and dancing, but it was not listed anywhere. It was just called Scarlet Night. Wear something red and be ready for an adventure. I can understand that they may be interested in making it seem like you're getting something special that maybe doesn't happen every time, but at the same time, as somebody who's paying money to be there and the entertainment is part of what I'm paying for, I would appreciate being a little more informed so I can choose what it is I want to see or don't want to see. Know what I mean? And speaking of things being unclear or mysteriously presented, one of the shows is literally called Untitled Dance Show Party Thing. That's what it's called.
What's it about?
You have to go there and find out.
This was a really fun night, and what it was is basically a big dance concert. I don't think that there was live singing in the show. The focus was definitely way more on dance. Colorful costumes, satellite stages that moved around the dance floor. This was also in the main performance space at the front of the ship called the Red Room. All the seats moved to the side, and then just like big chunks of stage that moved around with dancers on them, and it was meant to be like a big interactive dance party, but with only 500 people on board, and then, you know, maybe only 150 who figured out that this was a show and that it was something to go see and be there on time. That I would love to see that again on a full cruise, because I bet it's a ton of fun if you like dancing. But yeah, I mean, it's called Untitled Dance Show Party Thing. That's the information you get. Be there at 8. And let me just interrupt one more time to say the people we saw were really great performers. It's not about their talent. It's more about what has been created with their talent and how it is described and presented to people who are paying money to be entertained. I guess that's my biggest critique point, if you want to call it a critique point. And I have to tell you about this final show now. It wasn't on the final night, it was in the middle of the cruise, and it's called NSA. And it stands for Never Sleep Alone. And let me read the description of it again from the Virgin website. It says, resident sexologist Dr. A dispenses her unique brand of fearless and playful advice in this interactive late-night cabaret that puts you at the helm of your sexual destiny. It's not for the faint of heart. Gosh, I don't even know how to diplomatically describe this show. When you arrive in the theater, and the theater is this time again the disco set up in the cabaret seating again, everybody is approached by somebody with a clipboard, and you are asked a series of questions on a scale of 1 to 10. How adventurous do you find yourself in bed? Things like this. And like everybody is asked these questions when you arrive, and then encourage you from the beginning to participate in the show. Marcus and I both said we do not want to participate in the show, but they ended up asking us anyways later in the show. The host of the show, this Dr. A, is introduced, and I don't know if this performer that we saw really is somebody who studied sex, or if this is a scripted show and she's playing this role. I don't know. If anybody can confirm or deny that for me, please let me know in the comments below. But the show is like an hour of very intimate questions and answers, detailed talk about sex, about every possible way to perform sexual favors, and people are brought up on stage to admit what they've done, to talk about what they like to do, and to demonstrate the way to do things. And the way that they are chosen to come up on stage was so uncomfortable and so aggressive that I just couldn't, I don't know. My tolerance level for stuff like that is pretty high. I love sexual humor. Yeah, I mean, I am not a prude by any means. I have been around the world and I have seen some things, but I just found the way that this show was set up and the tone that was used to try to convince people to participate was off. It was so uncomfortable, and there was a point where I was also afraid to stand up and leave just because of the atmosphere in there. It got to a point where when people were asked to come up on stage and said no, that this hostess, Dr. A, called them lazy Imagine being on vacation and just wanting to sit and watch a show and being called a lazy Thanks, Virgin Voyages. That's a great vacation. So this is not a show that I think I would want to see again, and depending on who you're cruising with, I would highly not recommend this show. I mean, it's possible you're gonna be on Virgin Voyages with your parents or aunts and uncles or something, or other family members, and this is just not something that I want to be thinking about or discussing or talking about with certain people. You know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to be up on stage talking about it, not unless I'm getting paid a lot of money, and I paid to be there, so that's the wrong circumstances for that. What do you think about all this? Does any of this sound really interesting now? Like I said, good or bad is neither here nor there. I did have some fun at the shows. I was a little bit disappointed and puzzled by some of the shows, and I did feel very uncomfortable at one of the shows, but I'm still interested in cruising with Virgin again. If I got a good deal, I would go back. And now comes the time on Sunday Sofatime where I comment on your comments live on air. Just like Virgin likes to change things up and offer things in a new way, I'm gonna do something new this week as well. It's not gonna stay forever, but in the videos that I've posted about Virgin in the last few weeks, there have been a couple topics that have come up a few times, so I'm just gonna generally address those topics. One of them has to do with the music, the noise level on board. Somehow, I have given you the impression that there is super loud music playing on board in all spaces at all times. That's not the case. There is at times music playing that is very loud. There is music playing in basically all public spaces at all times. It is not always very loud. And that being said and accepted, as a lot of the other comments have been saying, there really aren't many cruise lines nowadays that offer any place on board where there isn't music playing. So it's not just specific to Virgin Voyages, it's kind of an every cruise line thing at the moment, although there was a lot of very loud music on Virgin as well. That's one topic I just wanted to clear up, to be fair. Another thing that I totally forgot to mention in my video about things you are not gonna hate about Virgin Voyages is the fact that essential drinks are included in the price of the cruise for everybody. So brewed coffee, juice, tea, iced tea, cola, Fanta, Sprite, it's all included in the price of your cruise. You don't have to pay extra for that, which is a big plus. Virgin might be a little bit more expensive than other cruise lines, but there is a lot included. Just on a side note, all the restaurants are included. There is no upcharge restaurant. There are certain things on certain menus that you can pay more for, but altogether, all of the 20 plus dining venues on board are included in the price of your cruise, and that's a big deal. And the final thing I want to talk about is the bathroom door. This horrible see-through bathroom door in our suite. If you've seen the cabin video, I talk a lot about this. If you've watched any of my hotel room tours or cabin tour videos, you know this is a subject for me. I like to have a bathroom door that closes all the way and is not see-through. I don't really know anybody who likes to be sitting on the toilet and seen. It's a private thing. Nobody really likes that, and it's a new trend. It's just becoming more and more. So I wanted to let you know that not all cabins on Virgin Voyages have this glass door, and not even all the suites. However, the cheeky corner suites that we were in, they do all have these glass doors. Some people were saying that there must be a switch that you can switch or a lock that you can lock and then it fogs up, but that was not the case, at least not in ours. Maybe it was broken, I don't know, but it remained see-through the entire time. And I watched another channel's review of also a cheeky corner suite with exactly the same layout as we had. And on this channel, it was said while standing next to this glass door and looking into the bathroom, oh yeah, it's no problem, you can't see the toilet at all. And I saw the video, I know what the layout of this suite is like, and I can just tell you, I saw the toilet. You can definitely see the toilet. It's a glass door. And it does have this sort of like shimmery effect to it, but it is see-through. And I mean, you have to be standing at a certain area in the room to be able to see the toilet. But let's say you're out on the balcony and whoever you're traveling with decides, all right, I need to drop some deuces. So they go in there, they close the glass door and are sitting on the toilet. If you come in through that second balcony door, which is a definite possibility, you can literally see straight through into the bathroom to the person sitting on the toilet. So just want to clear that up. You can see the toilet. It is a definite possibility, but you have to be standing at a certain place in the cabin in order to see it. And otherwise, it is around the corner, yet still behind
a see-through glass door.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed yet another video about Virgin Voyages. We'll be getting to the end of these videos soon. However, my next cruise has been booked, and I'm gonna give you a secret word, which is something I haven't done very often lately. So if you have watched to the end of this video, in your comment, fit the word micro into your comment. That will let me know that you've watched until the end, and it's a little hint about the type of cruise that I will be doing next. See you soon.